Today we will look on 5 key topics. First of all, looking on clinical landscape. What best is mentioned, Russian spending on healthcare is growing. It's actually government committed to do some increase in spendings, plus also quite significant and also challenging restructuring going on around increasing efficacy of hospitals, also looking on bringing more advanced treatment and healthcare. And if you can see on this slide, you might see that actually spending per capita is quite reasonable, and Russia in a range of number of Western countries, and also very close to a couple of growing emerging markets and leading, for example, compared to Brazil or compared to China. Few key takeaway messages for us from this slide, which may link to clinical operations and clinical development. First, is that an investment in Russia, again, it's a middle income country. It's important, so it means there are good investments in infrastructure. Recently, there was quite a significant change in technical background of hospitals and equipment. Also, it's a centralized system still in Russia, which is actually quite a big advantage for running clinical trials, because patients may concentrate on a special focus therapeutical hospitals or in regional hospitals. And also, interestingly, here it's an average picture. What is important to remember that Russia consists of 84 regions, and GDP per region and per capita spendings may be different. So there are 2 sources of budget, one federal for number of important therapeutical areas or disease, but regional one also playing a role. And if you're thinking about clinical research, in some regions you may really find a very advanced hospitals, well-trained staff. In other regions you may find a good physicians, but actually operating maybe in a hospital facing some challenges. I can give you a small example, like some regions in the north, which rely on commodity and high tax collection, like Sakha region, on GDP spending similar to Switzerland. So it's a very high spending, and population is very small. It's another also reason, but they have some really sophisticated hospitals and so on. On the south, some regions and very kind of farmer type of regions, you actually may see spending significantly low, more close to neighbors like neighboring Moldova and other countries. So again, just keep this in mind when you look on your site selection, and it may require some additional maybe investments in some logistics or support some infrastructure like around laboratory work and so on if you're going to regions with smaller GDP regional spending. Moving to the next slide, important to understand again how Russia is positioning on global landscape in terms of number of active studies. Again, if you look, it's actually positioned around, not definitely in top, but in the middle, so it's not bad. It's overcoming and very close to Japan, and if you're thinking about population, again, Russia is 142 million, Japan is 19, but it's where we may compare. And compared to some European countries, again, it's maybe also similar. In here, it's quite recent, data. What is important to emphasize, this is ongoing trials. What is interesting, if you go in more deep dive to look on some structure and what is behind, and also dynamic year by year, and I will explain what is going on and talk a little bit what we may expect in a couple of coming years. Just to remind, we are on slide number 10, some strengths, and I'm sure you know about this. It's population is quite large. Advantage is majority is people living in cities, and there are a number of very large cities, around 1 million and close. So it's again in terms of running clinical trials, in terms of logistics, it's actually advantage. It's still centralized health care system, which giving you intensive patient flow to specialized hospitals, and if approval time is not kind of a stellar in Russia, it's an average of medium, but recruitment is going really fast.